Wanted to show you guys the sets at this place. See all these coon tracks and other tracks underneath this? You see that slimy looking substance on the ice? That's fish oil I put there. I'll show you all my sets here. Coming around this corner. Whoops, sorry, there it is. There's a DP. I found a plate under here. Went ahead and tied off to it. Try to get those coon before they get around the corner. And when you get around here, you see the fish oil on that? Sorry guys, this thing's struggling here. Fish oil. And then right when you go up here, I found another plate. We tied off to it. There's a 1.5 buried right there with a stick. This is a blind set. There's a trail here. So if you follow it down here, guys, right to this corner, we got another blind set right here. And then we have a 220 tucked under that grass. There's a tunnel where the coon and stuff been going underneath there. Caught 2 bobcats right here on this corner last season. So anyways, we got it set up. We'll see what we get. The ice is supposed to melt off Sunday, and we'll be putting pocket sets and stuff under here too. This is just one little section I wanted to show you while it's cold that we set up. Well guys, it never fails. Coming off the edge of a big pond, we got us a skunk. He's alive, so caught in a 1.5 blind set. So we'll get this one dispatched and keep on rolling. Checking traps and adding traps out today. Should make for an interesting next few days. Well guys, I'm pretty sure you see what I see. Caught a skunk. This is probably about 5 or 6 checks later in a DP. So anyways, that's a skunk. Actually number 15. I was looking at the chart today. I have 13 and then we caught 2 today. So that's 15 skunks so far this season. And we got a warm-up coming. We may catch more. So anyways, we'll get this one dispatched. Keep on rolling. You know guys, this is another culvert location. Crossing under a fence to a culvert. Crosses down a creek through some pasture. I caught a black possum here last year, really black one. I'd have to believe these are probably the same genes, but 1.5 blind set, caught deep on that back leg, no cut, no bleeding, but nonetheless, we got too many possums, guys, so I gotta thin them out a little. I'm one of the few out here, so tight chains, let's keep rolling. It's gonna be crazy next few days. Well guys, first coon of the day. In a 220, he's wrapped up dead. He was just going underneath this cedar here. So we got him taken care of. Glad to have him in the truck. Well guys, out of all those sets we added yesterday, one of them paid off today. Got a big old boar raccoon. Really glad I found that plate down here. There wasn't much to stake with, and I just tired of burning through my earth anchors, but big boar raccoon on a cold day. We'll take it on the next one. Well guys, second catch of the day. Cold windy day. Raccoon number 2. He's not very excited to show himself off, and that's alright. We'll keep rolling. Alright guys, you see there we got a 220 right here in this funnel opening. But over here we've got a 1.5 going into a culvert and a 220 coming up over the ridge. So we got a 1.5 down there. We missed it with the 1.5, which is fine because it was more set for a bobcat. But you see here, we didn't miss our fur. Got a raccoon in the 220. Sorry about the lighting. Try to get you a better view here. Just like that in a 220. It's what we wanted. I don't even mind messing with the 1.5 because, like I said, it was more set with an intention of a bobcat coming through. So, anyways, first coon of the day. All right, guys, second catch today. Raccoon in a 1.5, deep catch on the hind foot. Wasn't going nowhere. So, pretty happy about that. This warm front's going to start really pushing some animals around. We need it because just got too cold too quick for my liking. I want to catch some more of these nest raiders. So anyways, let's keep rolling. Alright guys, I want to talk about this blind set location. We're coming off the edge of the water. You see there I pulled from my disposable. I'll reuse that next year. But we've caught a skunk and a raccoon here. So if you go up the trail here, and I know it's going to be kind of hard to see, let me back you out. Alright guys, so the trail goes up the bank here, right? And it meets right here. And the lighting's just not that great. I'm trying here, guys. So there's a stick right here, a dead limb, you know, it's a good size one going across right here. Okay, you see here, this pad is where they got to plant their foot. When they're coming down the trail, when they step off, they got to fully commit to that. Now another thing, when they're coming up the trail, and I'm sorry about my shadow here, I'm going to back off this a little. When they're coming up the trail, they've got to plant their foot before they step over this limb here. And I know that limb's hard to see, but it's a pretty good size one. Either way, their planter foot is in my 1.5. And yes, it's covered in blood. Doesn't even matter. Okay, I'm going to put a few leaves over it. This is where blind setting's different than baiting and luring. They're traveling. They're not sitting there sniffing stuff out, especially near the road too often. So nonetheless, we'll throw a few pieces of grass over this, but it don't take much. Just make sure they don't tangle up on your chain. Make sure your chain's knocked down, and make sure that, you know, you're bedded kind of firm there, and you don't have to dig it out or nothing. I just pounded that down with my fist, and then, you know, that's their planter foot right there. We'll catch something here again. I'm hoping for a bobcat at this location, if I'm being honest. Crossing to a drive with a bunch of brush. This right here, guys, best tool I ever owned. I've had this one for I think 5 years. It's a trapping axe, I believe. Got it at a convention about 5 years ago. It is worn out. It's about done. But look at the back. I've used it to pound in steaks, cut stuff. It saved my life at least once or twice where I was about to drown and I, you know, reached out and hit into a bank and it pulled me out. If you guys are carrying around one of them heavy sod busters and you're doing the kind of trapping I am, I highly recommend switching one of these. They're lighter weight. They can pound in your steaks and they can cut off tree limbs. So if this one craps out, I'm going to be really sad. I got 2 more on order. They're just backed up and they haven't came through, but I really need them because I beat the crap out of these. Can't believe it survived this long. Yeah, middle of the winter. I carry this all season long, guys. Third raccoon of the day, guys. This one's a pretty good size one. Let's go check it out. Caught in a DP, no BS DP with some cat food. Oh yeah, that's a big one. So, anyways, high and dry trail. Might be one of the bigger ones we caught this year. So, we'll get this one dispatched, keep on rolling. Just coming off a field edge to a telephone pole to cut corn. Well, that's raccoon number 4 today in a 1.5 blind set. And so we'll get this one dispatched. They moved last night. That's good because it's been pretty slow here. Hard to stay motivated. Alright guys, so we got through most of our footholds and stuff today. Now we're going to run over to more of my predator line and knock down a bunch of snares if we don't have anything. This predator line's much bigger than what's out right now. It's set up for when it gets cold, and it's going to be a big line. So I probably have 1/5 of it out, right? And I had it out prior to this cold. I went ahead and set it for the cold, but now we're warming up again. I'm going to knock it all down. I don't want to deal with it right now. It's for when it gets bitter cold. And while it's warm here, and I'm checking traps and I'm hammering coon, we're going to pre-stake probably about 40, 60, probably 60 more snares over in the new territory is what we'll go ahead and call it. But anyways, so then we'll get us up to about 100, 150 snares for the next cold snap. I'm always thinking, what's next? You know, I was talking with my good friend Dale and Mike, and we were talking about this warm front. I was preparing for the warm front, they're preparing for the warm front, but we're also thinking, well, there's a cold front that's probably going to roll in after that. You know, so us trappers are always thinking ahead and communicating and motivating each other, and that's what it's about. Alright guys, the reason we're pre-staking snares is because we're waiting for the bitter cold. The kind where everybody else stays home but the predators don't. Right, so we're pre-staking these snares because this is how easy it is. Here's my trail. Here's my snare support. It's whipped, the snare's whipped over back and knocked clear down to the deer stop. Keep it off the ground so it don't freeze to the ground, guys. You know, we could get a bunch of snow between now and then, but this trail will remain active. It's safe. We're pre-staked. Our snare support's ready. When we come back, we just set the loop. God, I love snaring, but that's for another day when it gets bitter cold again. I just set a few, guys, because it got cold for a few nights. See if we hit. We haven't so far. That don't mean we won't, but late season, it's going to be hot.